Restoring my 100-year-old dressing table was quite the process, but now she's finally complete. It's time to style her with beautiful things, cosmetics and other precious accoutrements. There's only one small problem. I got nowhere to sit. Boop. Hold on. Look! And when it came to finding the perfect seat, I was searching for something worthy of this dressing table, something beautiful but also unique. I've always been very fond of the old Hollywood Regency style. It's delicate, ornate, and a little bit theatrical. And when I found this chair, I've cried because it was expensive. And I didn't buy it, but for months it's been haunting me until I finally surrendered.
I bought the chair. And now I just can't leave it alone, can I? This tired pink velvet is simply not the vibe, and proportionally it's not quite right for the height of my vanity, which means we are in for a fun upholstery project. But before I make myself comfortable, there are 4 very important puppies I need to take care of first.
When I first started using this vanity, they would climb onto this platform. So I threw a little blanket on here for them and they would sleep while I'm getting ready, which is obviously so cute. But being the crazy Chihuahua lady that I am, a simple folded blanket is not good enough for my precious babies. So we are going to make them the most beautiful Chihuahua cushion to sleep on. Let's talk supplies. Since we are thrifty upcycling queens on this channel, these projects are going to be made almost entirely from upcycled and second-hand materials, such as these lovely cotton velvet curtains that came with my house when I bought it, very fine quality chenille upholstery remnant found on eBay, old cushion inserts for stuffing. I have an abundance of trimmings to choose from thanks to a couple awesome bundles I have scored on eBay. Wanna see my haul? Starting off strong with this gorgeous tassel and another lovely tassel. Lots of this pretty deep red fringe. We'll definitely use that. These really cool curtain tie backs. Look at that. It's beautiful. This is giving me medieval princess vibes for sure. These ones are lovely, but not really my style. Skinny black cord is always useful. This is quite nice. I think it would be lovely for a clothing project. I don't know why, it's just giving me Tim Burton vibes straight off the bat. This is cool. More barley twist curtain tie backs. Another large tassel, quite a lot of this beautiful white gimp braid. That's a really decent length here. This beautiful purple and gold edging. Lots of lovely little braids and fringes. Could be good for some little projects or Ren Fair outfits or something like that. Absolutely stunning trimmings. Look at this tapestry one. I'm obsessed with it. I want to wear this. And this one will definitely go onto a dress or something like that. Then I got a good chunk of this green golden terracotta barley twist. These lovely fringes in blue and green. Could be good for lampshades or curtains. Or even cushions. More beautiful fringes. This one is my favorite. And a lovely pink. Matching braid trims in burgundy and cream. Absolutely obsessed with this fringe. So beautiful. This beautiful sage green gimp braid for an upcoming upholstery project. And a huge bag of this pale gold fringe. The only thing that I have purchased new for this project is the foam for the chair. Let's get started. Let's design this cushion. I definitely do want to add this, which will tie it in with the chair, as well as this, which I'm gonna be using on the chair for sure. I don't really want to be hemming this, and I want this to be very, very trim heavy. So I think I'm gonna add this. Has both of the colors for the edge. This as an option, but I think the white is kind of fighting with the gold. plain pale gold one, which looks very light here for some reason. I think it would be nice on the edge anyway. It is looking a little bit flat. I do really like this one. This is quite nice, but then we get so much dead space. Maybe I should do like a gathered section, then add that on top. Ooh, I think this is looking nice. I'm having a really great time making this. Where we left off yesterday. When I was making this initially, I thought that I would be okay with the top and bottom corners to be hidden when I stitched the cushion together, but the more I looked at it, I'm realizing I really like this corner and I don't want to get rid of it. The back one doesn't really matter because I will never see it, but the front one would be cool to keep. So instead of a flat cushion, I'm going to make a 3D cushion, if that makes sense, more like a chair seat cushion where there is a side wall to it. So I already made my lawn loop, and first I'm gonna stitch it to the back and then we're gonna stitch it to the front, and we're gonna leave this area open because I'm gonna need to hand sew this flap onto the side anyway, so I might as well just leave this as our hole for flipping everything right side out and stuffing. So let's do it. I am feeling a little bit under the weather today, so if my brain is firing a little slower than it usually does and not like it fires very fast at any given time, please bear with me.
Yeah, it was more like having a plague for 2 weeks straight.
I am really enjoying working on this cushion and figuring things out as I go. It is really nice to have a very free creative project once in a while where you just get to experiment and try new things. It's really fun. As I was pinning the side and the top together, I also put a little notch at where the side needs to turn the corner. It releases the tension and it makes it easier to sew a nice little corner.
Finally, it was time to flip the cushion. I left a generous opening so I could easily turn it right side out, though I still had to be a little careful. The decorative side turned out quite thick. Once the corners were neatly shaped, I cut some padding to size and layered it inside. This helps the cushion keep a smooth, structured finish, as loose poly stuffing can become lumpy over time. I'm reusing filling from an old insert and packing it until the cushion feels perfectly plump. Next, I'll show you how to make a quick and easy tassel from fringe. I start by applying a small amount of hot glue and rolling the fringe onto itself, then pulling out a single strand to create a cord for hanging. From there, I continue gluing and rolling until I'm happy with the size. I cut the ends and separate each strand. Then I brush them out thoroughly using a dog brush and press the tassel with an iron to smooth everything out. A quick trim keeps it neat, and finally a touch of decorative trim for a more polished finish. And there we go, a simple, elegant tassel. All that's left now is to close the cushion opening and add a couple finishing touches. I'll see you at the reveal.
I just... That worked better than expected. Ta-da! It does look like it has been broken and welded back together at some point. This thing is totally broken. Well, I have to strip it so that I can trace it. Yeah, I did not really want to bust out all the power tools today, but looks like I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna bother to remove all of the staples because obviously we're not gonna be using this. Okay, let's reveal. Oh wow, there is actually a staple sticking out right here. Need to be so careful working with these things because we don't want no tetanus. Tell you that much. I love taking things apart because it's also so interesting how things were put together. Here, to make the seat pad a bit more fluffy, they just put gross scraps of foam. And that's that. Nothing to it. Okay, let's check. Any secrets hidden? No. I am not going to be salvaging any of these materials because they are just too old. Kinda just want to rip the fabric off, maybe even cut it off. By the looks of it, this pink velvet is a reupholstery because there is so much damage to the board. This chipboard is about to disintegrate anyway, so we're gonna be cutting new ones. I have been looking through my materials stash and I found some plywood. What I have on hand is quite a bit thicker and heavier. I'm really not feeling like going out and buying another piece. We're gonna go with that. This looks like about the right size. There's actually a lot of dust coming off of this, so I'm gonna wear a mask just in case. And I do have a sheet of very thin plywood. I totally cut into my table right here, and that's a problem for another day. Alright, I have preheated my wire foam cutter and now we're gonna use some spray adhesive to glue the foam pad to our new freshly cut seat, and then we're gonna cut around it. And hopefully it will all work out and my hands aren't too shaky. To avoid breathing in any toxic fumes, we're gonna wear this bad boy.
I have also realized that I have cut one side at a pretty dramatic angle, so in a panic, I grabbed scissors, I grabbed a foam knife, I kept on cutting and hacking at it, but in the end, all of my rescue attempts just made the situation worse. I had to accept defeat, there was no salvaging this. Lucky for me, I'm a bit of a materials hoarder, so I had this piece of foam saved from an old bench I got rid of, and it really came in handy. And this time, I really took my time. I went so slowly with the hot wire cutter, checking the angle as I went with the level, and it actually worked. Nearly perfect cuts. Crisis averted.
I'm still feeling quite indecisive about what I want to see on my seat. This perhaps could be quite cool. We made sure that this pattern is symmetrical. I'm going to measure half of this. So we are at 59.5. So we got 119 all the way around. Let's add 3 centimeters as our seam allowance, 1.5 on each end, which brings us to 122. The height of our seat is 12 centimeters, so we need to add 1.5 to that as seam allowance, which is 13.5. And then we are adding 5 more centimeters to it in order for us to properly stretch it and staple it. So that makes it 18.5. We're gonna do 19 just to round it up. We need to find where to pattern match, basically in the middle of this. So we gotta do 61 to one side and 61 to the other. So I'm cutting out the strip in a slightly weird way, but I couldn't see how else to match the pattern on both sides perfectly symmetrically. So I have cut out half of it. Let me just scooch right in here. And now I am folding it over, making sure that all of the bits are matching, or at least as close as I can get it. Yes, something like this. Now let's press the seam we just did open. Okay, so to make my life a little bit easier, I am going to first stitch the trim to our seat and then put it all together, because I feel like if I try to do it all in one go, I might make a mess. Okay, so we are pinning these together. As you can see, it almost seems like it's not long enough, but it is. It simply happens because this cut is straight and this one is wavy. I'm gonna go ahead and notch it probably every 4 centimeters. Ease it in. I went over everything twice just to make sure that the seam is nice and strong, because at the end of the day it is a domestic sewing machine. We are really pushing the limits here. Okay. Wait, it's looking so good. Oh, I'm so happy. apologize for the sudden lighting change. Pretty much all of my lights have died. See, I really want to try and see if this works with an additional layer of padding. Once again, being recycling queens, this is the insulation wool that comes with my dog's frozen food that I order, and I have saved quite a lot of it because I thought, I might use it as padding one day, and that was a good call. Try and see if this looks better. Whew, this is a workout in itself. Even if it doesn't look good, I don't think I'll be able to get it out of here at this point. So far, I am very happy. I'm not giving up for today. I'm gonna wait for the lights to charge. I'm gonna prepare my staple gun. We're gonna finish this today. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the back now, really nice and strong, and I am going to staple. I'm gonna do the same thing with the front, pull it really nice and taut and staple. I'm just gonna continue going around the perimeter, pulling everything nice and tight and stapling it in place. Working the corners, trying to make them nice and flat and beautiful. Beautiful dome, but now we want to smooth over the edges a little. I'm just touching it to the edge of this. I'm just going to fold it in just like this. The back ready to be upholstered. Okay, I think this looks quite good. So now all that's left to do is decide what do we want to have on the back of the chair. Do we want also a medallion or just something simple? It hurts to be so indecisive sometimes. I feel like this is quite beautiful. Let's go for it. I think my daffodils are about to open and I'm so excited for it because I'm gonna have an epic parade of daffodils this year. So if it happens throughout this video, I am gonna take you out on a daffodil tour. The toughest part is to line it up. Yeah. Ta-da! Okay, let's iron this a bit flatter, hopefully. No matter how careful you are, it always happens. Gonna take a curved upholstery needle. I have found a sturdier, thicker thread in my stash. And now I am just going in and out with like a sort of a ladder stitch, I guess, making sure I'm pulling everything very nice and tight. So it's looking really, really good so far. I'm catching the piece just on the very edge, going through the trim but under the barley twist itself, and through on the other side, just catching the piece, tightening it as much as I can, and then going back through to the other side in the same exact way. Moment of truth. It's time to assemble. I have been looking at this chair frame and realized that it is totally crooked. It's leaning to one side, the back is leaning to the other side. It's old, so it's okay to be a little bit imperfect. I have also looked at my seat with fresh eyes, so to speak, and it's also a little bit crooked and not perfect, so I'd say it's a match. The screws alone don't hold it in good enough, so I am going to glue it and then screw it. Okay, now it's the toughest part of the project. We need to decide, is it finished or do we add more trim? So let's try some on. Let's see. Some sort of trim down here could be nice. A bit too peachy. That could actually be quite cute. I'm not sure if I like this one as much. No, really beautiful with this fabric. I'm just not sure if we need a trim down here. It is really nice, but I'm not sure if Unexpected Blue is vibing. Decisions. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments. I need to go and have a little think, touch grass, breathe some fresh air. Shall we go check on those daffodils? Going to stack a second trim on top of this. I think it really ties everything together nicely because it has the same kind of satiny gold in it as a rope twist. It adds a bit more vavavoom.